All right, let's talk about it. That one shot that can make or break your entire round, the short putt. You know the feeling. You're standing over a 3-footer for par, your heart is pounding, and you're thinking, this should be automatic. But so often, it's just not. Well, today, we're going to break down the system to turn all that anxiety into your biggest strength on the green.
And isn't that the truth? This quote just hits the nail on the head. One little miss from close range can totally derail a great hole. But sinking one, man, that gives you such a massive surge of momentum. It's a tiny shot that carries so much weight, both on your scorecard and, maybe more importantly, inside your head.
We're calling this the 3-foot gamble for a reason, right? Because that's exactly what it feels like every single time, a high-stakes bet. But what if we could just take all the guesswork out of it? What if we could turn this thing you dread into something you absolutely know you can handle? That's exactly what we're about to do.
So, why does a shot that looks so simple feel like a total 50-50 coin toss? Well, for most of us, it's because we're just relying on feel, or maybe a little bit of hope and luck. But here's the secret. The best putters in the world, they don't guess. They have a system. It's a reliable, repeatable process that just works, especially under pressure. So today, we're going to break that system down into 4 simple pillars.
First up, Pillar 1, green reading. Now, it is so easy to look at a short putt and just assume it's dead straight. And honestly, that's the first big mistake we all make. Even the shortest little putts have some break. And learning how to actually see it is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
And here's the really cool, simple physics behind it. As your putt rolls towards the hole, it's constantly losing speed. It's slowing down. And the slower that ball gets, the more time gravity has to grab it and pull it offline. This gets even crazier on fast greens or on a downhill putt. So that straight putt you thought you had, yeah, it's almost never really straight.
Okay, so how do you actually see this invisible break? It's a really simple 3-step process. First, you get behind the ball and you look straight down the line to the hole. Next, walk to the side, about halfway there, and take another look. This gives you a totally different perspective on the slope. And finally, you just need to identify the high side, because no matter what, gravity is always going to pull that ball downhill toward the lowest point as it runs out of steam.
So now let's move on to our second pillar, stroke mechanics. This is where it all comes together. See, once you've read the green correctly, you have to have a stroke that can actually deliver the ball on that line, not just once, but every single time. When it comes to short putts, consistency is everything. And this number right here, this shows you why. 1 degree. That's it. If your putter face is just 1 single degree open or closed when it hits the ball, you can miss a 3-foot putt. I mean, think about how tiny that is. That is an incredibly small margin for error. And it's exactly why having a stable, repeatable stroke isn't just a nice to have, it's non-negotiable.
So how do you get that kind of laser-like precision? Well, it really boils down to these 3 things. The putting motion has to come from rocking your shoulders almost like a pendulum, not from getting flicky with your wrists. Your tempo needs to be smooth and even, back and through, and when you do those 2 things, you get the third. Total control over the putter face, which helps you keep it perfectly square right at impact. Okay, so you've read the green, you've got a solid stroke, but what happens when the pressure hits? You know, when that 3-footer is for the win. That's where pillar 3 comes in, your pre-shot process. This is basically your mental armor. It's what builds trust and just completely eliminates hesitation when it matters the most. Think of this as your final checklist before takeoff. First, use that little line on your golf ball to aim it precisely where you want to start it. Second, set your putter and your body up perfectly square to that line. Third, take 1 single deep breath. This calms the nerves and locks in your focus. And finally, and this is the most important part, you commit 100%. No second guessing, no doubt. Just make the stroke. And our final pillar, this is what ties it all together. Purposeful training. You can't just show up to the course and wish for confidence, right? You have to build it brick by brick on the practice green. But here's the thing, not all practice is created equal. Let's just look at the difference here. Aimless practice, this is what most of us do. We just kind of casually roll a few putts while we wait. But purposeful practice, well, that creates pressure. It sets a really clear goal, like, I'm not leaving until I make 10 of these in a row. This actually mimics the feeling of a real round, and it's how you build real mental toughness. So here's your action plan. Every time you practice, you're going to hit 20 to 30 putts from about 1 meter, or 3 feet. Your goal is to make at least 90% of them. Use a simple drill like the gate drill, where you just place 2 tees slightly wider than your putter head to train a perfect path. And then you apply the pressure test. Don't stop until you've holed 10 in a row. You know, when you finally bring all 4 of these pillars together, the green reading, the stable mechanics, that confident routine, and the purposeful practice, this is the result. This is what happens. Those short putts, they're no longer something to be afraid of. They completely stop feeling like a gamble. Instead, they become opportunities. Opportunities to save par, to make a birdie, and to build some serious momentum in your round.
So now the real work starts. The knowledge is all right here, but that confidence, that's built out on the green. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the one drill you're going to take out there with you tomorrow and start building that confidence?